Do you have questions following Chapter 1? So did the Band of Light. Concluding Chapter 1 of The Fall, Joseph invites questions from the Band of Light. His answers further examine the themes raised in The Fall's first communication.
Hello, this is Tony Clarkson from the Sanctuary of Healing. I'm here with my good friend Michael G. Reccia, and today we're going to conclude Chapter 1 of The Fall. In the last video, Michael read the chapter, and now we're going to go through the question and answer that happened at the end of the chapter. So I'm going to take the part of the person asking the questions, and you're going to be Joseph and answer the questions. So I'm going to be Tony, which I know quite well.
Yes.
I'm going to be Jane, which might be a little difficult, and I'm going to be David.
You don't have to take on their mannerisms, Tony.
Okay. So we'll go straight into it. Is that okay with you? And I need my glasses for this, I'm afraid. So this is me. I asked the first question. And my question was, Joseph, do we, as part of that universe that was created or manifested through thought, also have the ability to create as those angels created the universe? Does that pass down to a limited amount? Do we, as individuals on earth, have the ability to create?
And Joseph replied to that question. We will examine next in detail how you arrived and how the expression of God as an angel was and is perfect, and therefore there is no division between the angels who manifest the universe and yourselves, and no difference except in outlook. The nature of the is to bring forth potential and examine it joyously, constantly, and forever and ever. To bring forth potential, to look at possibilities, and to make possibilities whole. To examine them, and then to either perpetuate them or let them go. That potential is translated into the angelic forms, and then translated, as we shall see, to yourselves. We shall also see that the physical universe is not only apparently, because we are dealing with matter that is not really there as a solidity, outside of yourselves, but that physical universe is also inside of yourself. That you are each a physical universe, and you each have the potential not only of the angelic forces that create and destroy matter, but of the is that is behind those angelic forces. It is a vast subject, and one that we will examine in depth. That is the purpose of this book. Does that answer your question for now?
And Tony replying, thank you so much, Joseph. And so now Jane asked the next question. And Jane's question is, Joseph, when you said we could say to scientists that matter is condensed particles of light, could you use the word energy for light? Because scientists seem to talk about energy. Is light energy?
Joseph's reply. They talk about energy because they do not understand the nature of light, and they see everything as a vibration, which is good because everything is a vibration. But it is a condensation of God will that gives form to the light and the matter that you see in this universe. What I am trying to do with that statement is to say, look no further. You are looking for complexities. You are looking for something that has a name, something that is difficult, and something that has to fit in with your complex view of how the world works. The answer for the scientist is simple, and when the scientist relaxes his iron-like grip on what he considers to be true, then he will realize what is really going on. And what is really going on is that light, which is in itself an expression of the is and the unseen, is the basis of all creation. Light reacts in different ways dependent on the thought process that is put onto it and is applied to it. Light can be many things, but it is always light. The piece of coal that you pick up is light. The sky that you look at is light. The complex forms that you make in order to express your technology are light, because there is nothing else within this bubble of physical universe you find yourselves in. Light is the building block of all matter and all creation within this sphere. There are other means of creation, but they too are based on light. Imagine children's building blocks, which you can put together to make many forms, but at the heart of the many forms is the identical building block. It is just put together in different ways to create different pleasing forms to the eye. The building block of the physical universe is the particle of condensed light, which, through the thought process of the angelic group is grouped together in different ways to give the illusion of different forms. But if you were to have a spiritual microscope, you could examine every form and see within it that identical building block. Do you see that?
Jane's response, yes.
Joseph again. This is what I am trying to convey to the scientists, to relax their complexities. And in relaxing their complexities, they will see through the illusion and discover that the building block of the physical universe is a condensed particle of light. David, is there a question from you?
And now I'm David. You talk about this physical universe being created by an angelic group, which is part of the is, and at the same time, to use the rope analogy, the is unraveling in a different way elsewhere to create maybe another universe. How can you know that from your point of view?
And Joseph replies, because we are taught by angelic beings. We are angelic beings ourselves, but at a certain level in our completion of the cycle that takes us back to God, which in our case is not completed yet. We are visited by the purity of angelic forms that have not been corrupted, displaced, and locked in by the effects of what we are about to discuss later in the book, by the fall. As we free ourselves from the restricting illusions around us, we have access to those who talk to us and demonstrate to us, just as we talk and demonstrate to you our more enlightened viewpoint. I hate the term enlightened because it seems arrogant, but it is enlightened because we have divested ourselves of much of the physical matter around us so that we can see a truer path. Because of our increased vibration, we are therefore allowed to discuss such things with messengers. On earth you regard guides as messengers, and to an extent we are. But we have messengers who talk to us, who come and go from the is, who are filled with a joy that you cannot know until you divest yourself of the illusion of physical matter, and who talk to us of different aspects of the is, and who also are different aspects of the is. We sometimes experience visitors from the is who are joyfully different from the visitors from the is who govern this physical universe. It is like seeing different expressions of color or sound, and we see them as potential. Sometimes they come to visit because, unlike us at the moment, they are free to come and go from the all-embracing is. They are free to experience different expressions of reality. They come to visit us to show us the potential in other areas of the is. But there are so many other areas of the is. The is infinite. God is infinite, as you say quite rightly, infinite, and therefore expresses infinite potential. And there is an infinite desire and an infinite joy in examining different viewpoints, different playgrounds, different constructions of matter, different examinations of the is expressed as the fibers of the is. At times we have access to different fibers of the is from different parts of the is, but all parts of the is exist at once. You see the difficulty of expressing this in words. But if you were to consider the is, or God, as a hub from which stretches different pockets of reality, which are all part of God, but are all very different, then perhaps that gives you something to anchor onto via a physical mind. It is not how things are, but it is an analogy that works. Does that answer your question?
And David's response is, it does, yes, thank you.
And Joseph concludes, I must leave Michael. I have tired him greatly. Thank you for the opportunity to begin this great work. I have no idea how long it will take us, and we must at all times make sure that the flow of consciousness that I bring fits into the flow of consciousness that you find yourself in, and that I am delivering a narrative that is coherent and linear. Therefore, we must feel free to confer more than we have done with the other books to make sure that we have the timeline right, which is not a timeline at all, with regards to a book that explains the greatest mystery that has vexed philosophers and religious people for thousands of years. Why is the earth as it is? Why is humankind as it is? Why does it not change?
3 big questions to
Huge questions.
answer the chapter.
And huge answers within this book.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
It was good to read alongside you. I didn't do very much, but it was quite exhausting taking other people's parts.
You did it remarkably well. Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the question and answer session. And in the next video, we'll be starting on chapter 2. So from Michael and myself, I'd like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And God bless.
Take
I
care
look
of
forward to
yourself.
seeing you in the future.